Good afternoon. Lord bless you in Jesus' name. I'm going to bring you a quick study. I hope I can bring it in just a few minutes. I don't want to run this video long because it takes up a lot of memory. But a certain individual and I were talking about Genesis 6, and he was saying that he believed that Nephilim means these alien creatures, and I went to correct him that the term sons of God in Genesis 6 does not refer to angels. We're not talking about angels breeding with human women. First of all, angels have no sex organs. They're not given in marriage. We're told that in the Bible plainly that they don't marry or are given in marriage. So we can assume that they don't procreate. They are created beings. And they serve God's purposes. They're his messengers. Angel means messenger. So he uses them for a variety of reasons, but he does not use them to mate with human women and create giants. Okay? I'm gonna prove that to you here, hopefully. So look at Genesis 6. It says, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare them children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. Okay? So when you go to the Strong's Concordance and you look at this verse and you click on giants, what you see is the basis for this Nephilim training, this bad doctrine. The word is Nephil, but it means a feller, a bully, a tyrant. That's what a giant is, like a dictator. Nero would have been a giant. There were probably some rulers that we don't know their names. They're lost to antiquity. They're lost before the flood. We don't have a lot of record before the flood, except for Genesis. Giants, the Nephilim. So there's our word Nephilim. Now, people mix that together with the Zecharia Sitchin nonsense about the Anunnaki, and you get these elongated head creatures and reptilian garbage. God would never allow angels to mate with his creation. That's just not happening. Anybody that starts preaching that DNA, hybrid DNA garbage, just dismiss them. Okay? The Bible tells you clearly there were evil men. They were dictators. They were probably mistreating people. You have to remember that we didn't just go from zero to decadence after Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve sinned, yes, and they were kicked out of the garden, but they didn't, okay, we're going to rebel against God. They didn't raise children to rebel against God. Cain and Abel, Abel loved the Lord. Cain slew him. So there were people that loved the Lord. They were the sons of God. Okay? Early name for Christians, because there's no Christians yet. We haven't had Christ. So the Bible refers to them as the sons of God. The sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair. Daughters of men means the ones that don't love God, the ones that have gone off and raised families in other parts of the world. And those are the daughters of men. They don't love the Lord. They lost that connection. So the Bible's telling us that sons of God, believers, mixed with unbelievers, and they started raising these children that were tyrants and dictators, and they were marrying and giving in marriage, and God repents of making the earth to the point where he's going to destroy it with a flood. Okay, now let's go and look at that sons of God. Does that sons of God mean angels? Well, we're going to talk about Job. And in Job chapter 1, There was a day when, verse 6, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Now all my life I've heard that this is some sort of a powwow taking place in heaven. Hello, think about it. God cast Satan out of heaven. Does Satan have the power to come encroach in God's holy presence? Satan is sin. He can't be in God's presence there. There's a lot of references in the Bible to the Mount of God, the holy mountain, the mountain of God. It's quite possible, quite probable, that the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord means the believers. Again, the sons of God refers to the believers, and I'm going to prove that. It doesn't refer to angels anywhere in the scriptures. The sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. Satan is on the earth, prowling around as a lion, seeking whom he may devour, remember? He's not sitting down in hell on a throne in a lava pit, directing his demons to do his dirty work on the earth. No, he's on the earth. So he comes among the sons of God, means he infiltrated the believers that came to present themselves before the Lord. This could be on a holy mountain. And the Lord said to Satan, Whence comest thou? Where'd you come from? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth. Means that I've been everywhere. Let's tell you what.
I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've crossed the desert.
That's what Satan's saying. I've been everywhere. I've been going up and down in this earth. And then they start talking about Job. Okay? That's the only place sons of God. Now, the only other place sons of God, if you do a word search, this is amazing because you can search the entire Bible with Bible Gateway. So I put in the phrase sons of God, and it appears many times. The collection of words appears 70 times, but as a phrase, it only appears about a couple dozen times. Genesis 6:2, sons of God, daughters of men, so we know that's not angels. Sons of God came into the daughters of men and bare children to them. We know that's not angels, so that's humans. The rest of these references are not sons of God. You don't get to this phrase sons of God until you get to Job again. And we've just shown that that can't be angels because Satan can't be in heaven having a powwow at the angels' rally. Okay, so we come all the way down, and we don't get to sons of God until we get into the New Testament. And all the references to sons of God in the New Testament are referring to, for as many are led of the Spirit, they are the sons of God. That's humans. But as many received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. John 1:12, one of the most famous verses in the Bible. Sons of God, sons of God, sons of God is always and always and always reference to humans. It is never once a reference to angels. People say, well, what about Job 38? Let's look at Job 38 in context, okay? 38, 6 through 8. And this verse has 3 parts to it. I just discovered this today when reading this. This is going to be amazing. Watch. Wherefore are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together and the sons of God shouted for joy? Question mark. Or who shut up the sea with doors when it brake forth as if it had issued out of the womb? People say that this is the angels singing together during creation, but that's not the case. There are 3 separate time periods in this passage. I'm calling these 3 verses a passage. Here's the first time period, creation. Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? Sorry about my dog. And then in verse 7, when the morning stars sang together. Okay, so the morning stars are already created, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. This is that period between probably creation, maybe before being thrown out of the garden. But the sons of God shouted for joy. That doesn't say anything about angels, okay? Or who shut up the sea with doors when it brake forth. We're talking about the flood here. So this is creation, the period between creation and the flood, and then the flood here. That's what we're talking about. This has no mention of angels whatsoever. All right? I'm going to have to pause for now. I'll be back with part 2 in just a few minutes. Hang tight.